Yo, what the frick? What the actual frick am I, bro? What? I'm out here DoorDash and I turn around and, bro, what the frick?
Yeah, welcome back with another banger. Yeah. Hit that like, sub it up, don't react, bounce. Back with another banger. Hit that like, sub it up, don't react, bounce. Y'all feel me? Let's run it.
After 64 years of living in Texas, he's never seen ice like this.
Get right over here,
I'll show them what we did right there. Look what we did.
we tried to heat the top up to melt the ice off the top of my garage area right here. We're going to see if we can't melt this snow, because nothing's coming off. And we're just going to use plain old gas first.
It's normal every year that they would use a method like this to melt ice around their property.
That's crazy.
Huh?
That's crazy.
Put some oxygen to it, like you would.
Many people will say, oh, you've never lived in the Midwest and experienced a winter there. But this guy lived in Texas all his life and he knows.
That's crazy. I mean, it's melting it now. Okay, there it is.
How much heat do you have to put?
You have to put an enormous amount
500 degrees
to melt this snow. And even then, it's having problems.
Yeah. It's having issues right now trying to melt.
That's insane.
You should just be turning the water.
Manufactured snow. Manufactured ice. That's insane.
You're cutting holes there right now.
That's insane. That's what I'm saying. Like, we should have been getting ice all off there. It should have been done within a matter of minutes.
I'm not around these environments that often, but to me, this looks very strange.
I've never seen anything in 64 years like this. When my daddy was here, he'd tell you the same thing. When you stick that kind of heat to an ice cube, it should just melt. Okay? This stuff ain't melting.
That's crazy. That's insane.
This stuff
if it doesn't melt after a blowtorch, what is this stuff that's on the ground? Shout out to Unanswered Universe. I've seen people hold lighters, you know, but a blowtorch with added oxygen? Like, yo, I find these results very interesting.
go.
Frozen mid-scribe. Now, I always thought the damn internet was lying. This motherfucker froze.
We have deers frozen solid. Deer frozen solid. All over the United States, I'm seeing. I'm gonna show you some more in a minute, and then I'm gonna show you another microscopic image of snow showing something completely different, but then of course troublesome, like the last one I showed you. Now, this is not to be confused with this scammer right here. The video he posted where a guy was going up to deers full of ice and hammering them, that was AI. And no, he's not a comedian. He posts fake videos. He takes Russia, says Florida. He's the one who made up all the bullcrap about Yellowstone last year. He banks on you thinking his videos are real, so you share them. And we got more footage of more deer frozen solid. And of course, this snow would not melt, and I don't care what the community says. It's weird that snow, that ice, things like that will not melt. I've lived 31 years. Snow has always melted, especially on the stovetop, and I've showed you where that didn't melt either. So I just showed you where some living, fibrous creatures were in the snow. No, it's not from the ground. It's from snow on its deck at the top, far away from the ground. It was real time. Now this girl right here did the same thing, and she's finding very weird plastic structures inside the snow. I really wonder, guys, how that could happen. So we got frozen deer, snow that won't melt, weird plastic structures inside the snow, as well as living, fibrous, living creatures in the snow.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start calling this nano snow. Shout outs to the real Moon Henry. Them deers look like something that'll leave the world behind.
Or look like this, just go ahead the fuck back in the house. Just go in the house. Ain't no need for you to be outside today. If I can't drive, you bitches can't drive. Happy snow day, motherfuckers. We tearing this shit up. Allegheny don't need to go nowhere. Go in the fucking house. Go in the house. Go in the house.
This is why you don't park on the running water, motherfuckers. That shit is frozen solid, nigga. Damn. Jesus. Never park on the frozen fucking water or broken pipes, dumbasses.
Signals were detected.
Operations were denied.
The truth moved anyway.
Follow the data. Like, comment, subscribe to the React Files for the next data drop.
Conspiracy theorist, but you don't have to be one to think that this is insane. The US Department of War tweeted that yes, they have directed energy weapons, and yes, they are scaling them. For years, if you even mentioned this kind of technology, you got mocked, you got fact-checked, and you got called a crazy conspiracy theorist. And now it's just openly admitted. So what is a directed energy weapon? It's a weapon that uses electromagnetic or particle energy to destroy its targets. Extremely deadly. Theoretically could even start fires that burn abnormally fast and other things like that. And maybe this technology has been around a lot longer than we're told. Here's an image from the 1871 Chicago fire, and what's that? If you see here, this laser does not incinerate the color blue, so the people painting their roofs blue aren't so crazy anymore, are they? And what exactly are they scaling them for? But what do I know? I'm just a conspiracy theorist. Let me know what you think.
And so am I. Shout outs to Gooba Homestead. Seems they saying the quiet part out loud. I agree, a few years ago they would have said, you wear a tinfoil hat. Well, I'm happy I've been wearing one the whole time.
Slap me silly and call me a conspiracy theorist. This dude, Alex Honnold, just climbed to the top of this massive skyscraper. And you know what's funny about this? This dude's amazing, by the way. However, when he got to the top of this skyscraper, no one could reach him because there was no service, which I just happen to find very interesting because in 1969, President Nixon just picked up the phone, dialed Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong from 239,000 kilometers away to the moon, and they just talked perfectly with no delays or anything. If you guys didn't know the official story of how NASA said that they made this happen, you gotta hear this. They said that Nixon just picked up a standard telephone, this one right here, made the phone call, but it was relayed through NASA's Advanced Communication System. This was in Houston, Texas, so Houston then transmitted Nixon's voice to the Goldstone Communication Complex, which is located in California. And they used these massive antennas that were beaming these frequencies, these radio waves, 238,000 kilometers away to the moon. Now, what's interesting about this is radio signals take approximately 1.3 seconds each way, meaning there should have been about a 2.6 second delay if this was the case. However, they were just talking normally, like I'm going to show you right now.
And thank you very much, and I look forward, all of us look forward to seeing you on the Hornet on Thursday.
No delay, just smoke and mirrors and a fake phone call. And I'd like to say that about 90% of people out there know that this was all bullshit, but there is still that 10% that are masked up and completely boosted that believe that this still happened. Yeah, I found all this very interesting and I just wanted to bring it to your attention because I love you guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to follow, smash that like button, share this video, and stay tuned for more. Peace and love.
That was a great connection right there. And I like how he did the math. There should have been a 2.6 second delay at least. Yeah, that guy climbing that skyscraper is a wild one for real. Shout out to Sheldon Soraya 369.
Now this is a whole new world of unbelievable. This don't make no sense. You're trying to tell me, do what? You're having a laughing chat. So let me see if I got this straight. Underneath my city, there's an abandoned train station that used to go through Radford, St. Anne's and Meadows. Oh, you son of a ball bag. But it gets worse. Underneath Nottingham Castle. Now, just look how big the castle is. The castle is in the middle. Yeah. So think about the size in perspective with the other things. Can you tell me who's digging that deep? And how did you get the obelisk? The Egyptian style obelisk at the bottom. Right on. This is right at the bottom. It's an obelisk. How? There's no way you could have started digging from the ground. I'm telling you, these places are just abandoned underground train stations. The hills have eyes. People used to live here. This is their home. This is a weird place. This is a strange city. The people that lived in the caves. I don't really want to go down there, but I'm on the front line.
Shout outs to the Bully Slayer, aka One File Wow, talking about Nottingham Station. Reminds me of what Damian Michaels was talking about in the other video. But that castle though, I never thought to imagine what was under a castle, and wouldn't expect to find no obelisk either.
Scientists just released a map of what's underneath Antarctica's ice, and it turns out that we knew more about the surface of Mars than we did about our own planet this entire time. So scientists have actually just released the most detailed map that we've ever made of the landscape underneath Antarctica's ice, and I think this is a moment that everybody's been waiting for. What they were able to find is actually insane because they found mountains, deep canyons, and over 72,000 hills that nobody knew was there. The team used satellite images and physics calculations to figure out how ice bends and flows over hidden obstacles. They're saying that by analyzing the surface, they could basically reverse engineer what the ground underneath looked like, kind of like a silicone mold. One channel that they were able to discover is nearly 400 kilometers long and 6 kilometers wide, and they're saying that it connects to an ancient drainage system from millions of years ago. They're saying that there are sharp mountain ridges, steep valleys, and plateaus that have been frozen in place for longer than humans have existed. Okay. They're saying that these structures actually affect how fast glaciers slide towards the ocean, so the rougher the terrain, the slower the ice moves. So this map could literally and entirely change all of our predictions about sea levels rising, which is insane. We are somehow to this day still discovering our own planet, but we know a lot about the surface of Mars though.
Exactly, well said. Shout outs to Nick Jackson. Soon we'll be having a Hollow Earth expedition.
The determination of the Bulletin Science and Security Board that humanity has not made sufficient progress on the existential risks that endanger us all. We thus move the clock forward.
Okay guys, they just updated the Doomsday Clock for 2026 and it's the closest it's ever been in history. This year they updated it to 85 seconds to midnight, up 4 seconds from last year at 89 seconds, which was also the closest we've ever been in history. We just keep breaking records every year. The number of seconds to midnight is a metaphor to how close we are to the end of the world rather than the actual amount of time that we have left here on Earth. And I left a brief description in the caption of exactly what the Doomsday Clock is. The reasons we're at 85 seconds is due to an alleged information Armageddon due to AI, most notably AI generated videos which we can't tell apart from reality, policy shifts and climate change, apparently that's still a thing, biological threats in the form of lab-made pathogens without a coordinated international plan to manage the risks of accidental or intentional release. Been there, done that, am I right? And the biggest one on the list is the threat of nuclear escalation, due to not only the countless regional conflicts we've been having, but also the rapidly approaching expiration of the New START Treaty, a treaty that limited the number of long-range nuclear weapons weapons that could be developed in countries like US and Russia, and also gave transparency to each of these countries to check on each other's nuclear arsenals whenever they wanted, which expires on February 5th, 2026, with no successor in place. So it's going to be an all-out free-for-all for building nukes for the first time since 1972. So yeah, 85 seconds, the closest to the end of the world we've ever been in history. Let's try moving it back for once next year.
Yeah, I agree. We need to move that back. Shout out to Phil's Pixel. Sounds like we got a minute and some change. February 5th, it expires. Now that's wild. That's a crazy thought, for sure. Sounds like a countdown to the Hunger Games or something.
Do you know the original Nintendo, the NES, that you didn't have to slide the games down to actually play them?
Pushing it down doesn't actually do anything. And in fact, it's even better to not push it down, as it causes less stress on the pin connector.
Now, you can slide a lot of things by me, and I might misremember some things, but the NES has taken countless numbers of my childhood, and not in any number, minute of those hours, anything, where there was ever a chance where I could just slide a game into it and not push it down and it worked. And now I had dusty games, I had old games, I had broken games, I had rent games. Yeah, they did that back in the day. You had to go to a rental store. That was the thing. But never, ever did I ever slide a game in and start playing it. And now, just know that my friends at this time and age, we all talked about all the newest games, everything they came out, every little trick, Power Gloves, Game Genie, the Game Genie, you forgot that one. We talked about everything. There was hotlines, there was a magazine for Nintendo, and not in any one of these things, these outlets, would anybody ever told me that you could just push it in and start playing. Am I the only one that don't know that, or that was not in my timeline? That did not work. I'm sorry, that did not work. Let me know if you ever did that, or you knew that, or does that sound just plain out wrong? Let me know.
I'm from the timeline where you pushed it in and had to push it down. Shout out to Timelines 57. Yeah, I'm on the same timeline as him with the Game Genie, Nintendo Power Magazine, the Power Glove, even a track and field mat that you would lay on the ground. Can't forget the orange gun for Duck Hunt. To be honest, whatever that person was playing didn't even look like a Nintendo.
Hey, movie's over, man. Theater's closed. You hear me? Gotta get going. Sir? What the heck?
So it looks like TikTok is dead, with millions of users deleting the app right now, and removals are up to 150%. What is going on? Now, there was a new US merger, and one of the guys involved was this guy, one of the richest guys on earth, Larry Ellison, who made $100 billion in one day last year. Yeah, that guy, who I like to call one of the most dangerous but silent billionaires on earth, because nobody really talks about this guy. And most people don't know that his son owns Skydance, which owns Paramount. He owns Oracle and now TikTok, so all bases are covered. Now, there's two reasons why people are deleting the app. For one, the new terms of service are completely off the rails. And yes, we've seen some crazy terms of service with all these apps. They're all tracking us. We know this, but let's take a look at this one. So the new TOS states that they can track your citizenship, your immigration status, your religious beliefs, your mental health and physical health diagnosis, your race, if you're trans or binary, your sexual preference and orientation. This screams FBI, CIA tracking device. But it doesn't stop there, because the second thing is the censorship, which is completely out of control because you can't say the word Epstein, like ever. And yes, there's screenshots all over the internet right now where people cannot say the word Epstein or even DM the word Epstein. I mean, isn't it funny that they only release less than 1% of the Epstein files, and now this merger comes, and now we can't even say Epstein? Very interesting. Not to mention, when you mention Larry Ellison himself, they'll freeze your video, and there's screenshots all over the internet verifying this. And even TikTok now is launching an investigation on why you can't mention Epstein. Yeah, let's go ahead and investigate ourselves. You guys, this is worse than communist China because they own the app before them, and people were even saying they gotta sell TikTok back to China, bro. What the fuck is this? Now, as a result of all this, the alternative everybody's going to is Upscroll, which is now #1 in the App Store and #2 globally. You could definitely find me there because after that Epstein shit, I'm out, and not to mention, they just deleted my 6th TikTok account, so final straw. Make sure you guys hit up my YouTube, The Maverick Approach. I'm going to do a deeper dive, but let me know what you guys think about all this down below.
Yeah, it sounds like TikTok is cooked. Shout out to Maverick Approach. Upscrolled. Trending #1, eh? How many of you are on that app? Let me know in the comments down below. I might have to check it out myself.
How did you get us out of that? How the did we not get in an accident right there? How did you do that?
I don't know. Just did it.
来视频啊，来视频，来视频。
打头次麻将。来报警啊！我们现在是录视频报警的，麻将全是头次麻将。看头次麻将，每个人都看到啊，证据在这里，摆在这里，还有一个。全部都是透支麻将。
规则打开了。
打铃了，来，全部看一下啊！报警！来，全部透支麻将。
A farmer in Kentucky decides to dig a huge hole on its property after hearing this loud construction noise coming from deep underneath his farm. His farm is in the middle of nowhere.
Alright guys, I've got about a 6-foot hole dug here, and we've hit rock, but listen to this.
Now, is he hitting rock or is he hitting concrete? Is this some type of underground construction?
It's loud. I mean, it's really loud. We found it again. Listen to this.
This video was taken from another section of his property.
Feel it under my feet.
This sound has been going on for months now, still with no answers. It almost feels like there's some kind of construction going on underneath his farm.
It really sounds different this time. Listen to this.
The farmer says he can feel the ground vibrating. There's definitely something going on underneath. Does anyone have answers? And what other conclusion can he come up with outside of
but this time
there's something being built underneath his farm? Leave your thoughts below. This is Unanswered Universe.
Sounds like he has a farm on top of the dumbs. Shout out to Unanswered Universe. If you ask me, it's time to sell a farm.
ICE is now going international. The AP just reported that US immigration agents are going to have a security role at this year's Winter Olympics in Italy. But not for the reasons you might think, because no, they're not going to be arresting migrants and deporting them from Italy. Rather, according to insiders who spoke with the AP, they will fulfill a security role for a US delegation, including JD Vance and Marco Rubio, who will be attending the opening ceremony in Milan next month. And so, for reasons still unclear, ICE were the ones chosen to fulfill that security role. I mean, maybe they just couldn't resist the pun. But this is going to be tense because Milan's mayor is actually very opposed to the idea, saying in a radio interview, this is a militia that kills, a militia that enters into the homes of people. They are not welcome.
He is on the board of directors for TPUSA. There's this book that came out in the 1970s called Mind War, The Psychology of Victory. And this book was written by a colonel in the U.S. Army. He was Army PSYOP, Psychological Operations Officer, Michael Aquino. This book was all about psychological warfare, information control, and perception management. It argues that that modern conflict is no longer won primarily through bullets and bombs, but through shaping beliefs, narratives, and morale. But this man was an open Satanist, very much practicing of a Satanist. He started this Satanist church, Temple of Set. The U.S. military were big proponents of this book. Like they studied this book.
Yeah.
Even this Major General Paul E. Vallely go around and do seminars and stuff, and this book, Mind War, it's all about psychological warfare and controlling the narrative,
building thoughts inside of people's minds.
Yeah,
that's scary, dude.
Yeah, he is on the board of directors for TPUSA.
What? No way. Why would you want any part of that?
I'm not saying TPUSA is under some crazy whatever, but I'm just saying
that's a weird thing to have somebody on consulting for
Major General who is a big proponent of this book, Mind War.
Yeah,
is on the board of directors and a consultant for manipulation and narrative control.
Is he part of the Temple of Set people?
No, I don't believe so. It's just weird.
No, Erica Kirk. People are theorizing that there was an Erica Kirk before her.
What, like a clone?
She looks exactly like this other woman named Erica Kirk back in 1934. And her positioning is what's really weird.
Okay.
Because she's also connected to a very popular Republican, just like Charlie Kirk.
No.
People are saying it might be the same person.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it literally looks like the same person, right? This is what's really weird.
Yeah.
They used to call this Erica Kirk in 1934 Madame X.
Okay.
The reason they called her Madame X was because she appeared out of nowhere and she became very important.
Yeah.
Very similar to what happened with Erica Kirk.
I've never heard.
She just appeared and she's very important. Almost as if she was
planted.
She looks dead ass just like
this is
her.
crazy. This is
That's
crazy.
why it's so weird. Back in the day, it was a political wife.
I feel like you can do this with a lot of people though, because there's been, if you search up other celebrities, Taylor Swift, there would be one that in the 1900s that look exactly like her.
I do want to remind you that Charlie has not been dead for 2 weeks. That's where you have to go back to. Not even 2 weeks after Charlie was publicly assassinated. The obvious point of this call to set this up is to introduce Erica. She's the new leader. Not even introducing, she's just heading up this call, but obviously she's going to be at the helm of this, so they're getting to know her. So let's take a listen.
Hi, everybody. I still love all these emoji Zoom things. Wow. I don't even know where to begin. The fact that we were able to pull off an event of a century, it's just insane. We had over 275,000 people that attended, and a stadium, overflow, Westgate, insane, you guys. And then you have, was it 100 million? We had thousands that were registered to vote. I think we're at over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that because I think it just keeps bumping up like crazy. But I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the events team, the development team, the graphic design team, the production team. It's just phenomenal. Their incredible work of leading into the memorial. And honestly, a lot of the staff that worked on the memorial, they had 20-hour days for a week during the time of us grieving the loss of my husband. And honestly, I know several staff that didn't even sleep. Again, you guys are breathing angels. I don't care if any of you have beef with each other from the past or have any issues with someone said something about this or that. If you guys have any of that, please put it to rest. My husband's dead. I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead. And it puts life into perspective of how short life is and relationships.
It is the general tone that is off-putting. It's the laughter that is off-putting. It's, again, we are not even 2 weeks after watching your husband be assassinated. We're talking about numbers and metrics that have been hit. And my husband's dead, not to be morbid. That is a sentence that and this was not my husband, and I had no sort of the type of relationship that she had with him, that I was able to utter. Least of all, that's moving pretty quickly to the acceptance phase. Now, we know everybody grieves differently. In my imagination, I just thought she would be more upset.
And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed the deep dive. If you enjoyed this video, please consider to give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Shout outs to all the reactors. Thanks again. Till next time.